Hello, beautiful people. Happy Monday. How's everyone? So, welcome for your astrological forecast for this week. We'll be predominantly talking about the new moon in Virgo because, to be honest, there is nothing really much else happening prior to the new moon. We are starting the week with moon being a sign of Leo. Moon, of course, touches everything and makes aspects to everything. So, I'm not going to go into aspect that moon is making because we'll be here all day and I don't want to make this too long. But moon will move into the sign of Virgo, ready for her new moon in Virgo on Wednesday. And the new moon in Virgo will be actually taking place on Thursday, late night or early Friday morning, depending when you are in the world. For us here in Central Europe, it will be taking place on Friday morning, Friday the 15th, at 3:39 a.m. So for you in the US, it will be Thursday night, and it will be happening on 21 degrees and 59 minutes of Virgo. There will be a lot of aspects taking place at the same time, which I will get into. But just to continue on that note, on Friday also, Friday the 15th, we'll have Mercury finally stationing direct. I'm sure a lot of people are happy about this. This Mercury retrograde has been intense, not gonna lie, it's definitely been intense, and we have some time to chill because it's not gonna station direct until almost the end of the year, so we have few months of rest to recover after this Mercury retrograde trickstery. And Mercury will station direct on 8 degrees of Virgo. So on Friday also, Moon will move into the sign of Libra, where Moon will remain for the entire weekend. She will move into the sign of Scorpio next Monday, and on Saturday, Sun in Virgo will trine Uranus exactly. This is something that is already present during this new moon in Virgo. I will talk about that. And on Sunday, Venus will square Jupiter for the third time. So we already had two of these squares. The first one took place on June 11th, and that was actually the same day when Pluto retrograded back into the sign of Capricorn, and Mercury moved into its rulership of Gemini after being in Taurus for forever, because it had its last retrograde in Taurus before this one in Virgo. And just before that took place, the two actually made trine to each other, so that was very positive. And on the second one between the two squares between Venus and Jupiter, this was taking place on 22nd of August. Venus, as we know, was already in retrograde at that time, and that was the same day Mars opposed Neptune. Mars was at the time in Virgo, and it was opposing Neptune on the same day. And why am I mentioning this is because now Sun is in the same position, and obviously this new moon is opposing Neptune, and Neptune is opposing it, and we will have the exact Sun opposition to Neptune coming up soon. I will also mention that when I will be talking about the new moon. So the second one was on the 22nd of August, and now next Sunday we'll be closing the week with Venus squaring Jupiter for the third time, and this time Venus is direct but Jupiter is retrograde, and as we know, Venus is the ruler of Jupiter because Jupiter is in Taurus. So this is pretty much it. I have few tidbits of information that might or might not interest people, but now being in Virgo season, it takes me forever to prepare for any of my videos, and it never happens on a first take as it normally does. Like, this is number 3 I'm recording this. I hope I'll stay with this one because I have other things that I have to be doing, and unfortunately our daily schedule has completely got disrupted by circumstances. So if you hear any background noises, specifically my 1-year-old nephew, life happens. Let me just tell you, life happens, especially in this household. So being a Virgo season, I dig in for information which might not even be necessary to mention right now, but for whatever reason I felt drawn to mention this because there has been a lot of Sun Jupiter activations. As we know, this just week gone has been full of Mercury and Jupiter aspects, and specifically we had the beautiful trine between Sun and Jupiter that took place on last Friday, which was beautiful beginning of the week. And then of course, I didn't mention it in any of my long videos, we had the 9-9 portal, which is a very powerful energy streaming forward because the number 9 is all about culmination and closing of old cycles, and we will see a lot of that when I talk about this this new moon in Virgo, because there is so many closing phases. It's crazy. It's really, really crazy. And even though this is a new moon, of course, before something new can begin, something old has to end. So new moon is always a point of closing and beginning, because it's when moon and sun get together, point of conception. So for whatever reason, I was drawn to mention that the conjunction between Sun and Jupiter, where the cycle between Sun and Jupiter has begun, happened in April, on April 11th, and that happened in Aries. The next time Sun will conjunct Jupiter will be still in the sign of Taurus, literally just about, and it will be on 18th of May. So that will be on the late degrees of Taurus, because Jupiter will then move into the sign of Gemini on May 25th, and that will, this is, I'm talking about next year, and next year 2024. And Sun, of course, will move into the sign of Gemini before that. So, and yeah, the other interesting thing, for whatever reason, that came to me was that on the same day when Sun will conjunct Jupiter next year in Taurus, we will have Venus conjunct in Uranus. And of course, we know that we also have Uranus and Jupiter conjunction, which will be taking place on April 20th. So yeah, and then the next day, May 19th, 2024, like people are, why are you talking about May next year? I have no idea. I just felt that this was important to mention because of everything else that's going on. So the day later, we will have actually Mars conjunct in North Node in Aries. So this is all like preparing us, because conjunction is a beginning and ending in order for the new beginning to take place. So we can see all these conjunctions that are starting. A conjunction is always a new cycle is beginning. And now we are predominantly, I'm going to dive in and talk about a new moon in Virgo, which is a conjunction, Sun and Moon conjuncting. That's why it's a new moon. So a cycle is ending, new cycle is beginning, and we'll have the full moon in Virgo on February 24, 2024. Guys, can you see what's happening here? 24 to 24, February 24 of 2024 to 24. So this is like crazy. And it's gonna be happening on 5 degrees and 23 minutes, which is 5-5, which comes to a number 10. 10 is again grand closing and new beginning. Number 1, beginning. 0, it's everything is possible. Literally 0 point is where everything is possible. So what I'm trying to say, and I'm getting goosebumps, is that this new moon is very important, because this is the last lunation before equinox, and obviously before, this is the last normal new moon, because the next one will be the eclipse, it will be the new moon in Libra. But apart from that, this is also the last lunation of any kind, new moon or full moon, before the equinox, which will again be a change. It will be beginning of a new season. Something is shifting. Of course, equinox is when the sun will move into the sign of Libra. Libra is a cardinal sign. Cardinal signs are all about starting something new. Something is shifting in the air. And this is a new moon, which is a seeding of something new, and new intentions are being planted. And it's in Virgo. Virgo is all about the sign of healing. We already spoke about this because we are in Virgo season. We have been in Virgo season. We are now entering the end part of the Virgo season. And Virgo is all about learning, adjusting, and integrating. And as I've been sharing in my practical application of astrology videos, there is so much of that happening for me personally, people I speak to, and everything is shifting. Everything is shifting, and being in a Virgo season, which is a flexible, mutable sign, we are encouraged to not be too attached, not to be rigidly too attached to anything, because everything is changing so quickly. And if we are not flexible, we might just be taken to the Pisces, like disillusionment or depression or just giving up or victimhood mentality. I spoke about all of this in my previous videos, but it is very important to mention right now, because this Virgo new moon, it's all about healing. And that's why I feel drawn to mention all these aspects, which might make no sense. Why am I talking about something that's happening in April or May next year? Who cares, right? But for whatever reason is relevant, because there's going to be all this conjunction taking place, conjunction between Jupiter, Uranus. It's already taking place now, but this is the closing phase. Again, I will mention this when I dive into the new moon in Virgo interpretation, but there are so many things that are culminating. And at the same time, we are seeding of a new energy, a new moon in Virgo. Put your intention. What do you want to heal? What do you want to change? What do you want to adjust in your reality going forward? because after Virgo comes Libra, which is the first sign of the Northern Hemisphere in the astrological chart, which is the integration into the society. Like, this is going to be mirrored and reflected back to us by what we see around us, because our external reality is being created by us, and then it's just mirrored back to us. Like, okay, you put things out there and now they've been mirrored back to you, they're coming back. So Virgo is, in a sense, it's the time of harvest, isn't it? Virgo season is a time of harvest where we are like, we have the opportunity to reap the rewards of our labor. But this is a new moon, so the new moon is saying, well, what do you want to reap in 6 months? Even though it will be obviously the winter season, well, depending where you are in the world. For you guys in the southern hemisphere, there will be the summer season. I will be, hopefully, if everything goes as planned, in Mexico, so I will be somewhere where hopefully it's not cold, right? But yeah, this is just so fascinating for me because of all the synchronicities and everything. Like, full moon in Virgo on 24/2/2024, you can't make this up. Like, I mean, out of all days, this is the day when it's going to be happening, and it's 8 and 8, and 8 and 8 is 16, which is number 7. Number 7 is the Neptune. Pisces, right? Number 7 is the Neptune energy. It's also the chariot in tarot. It's all these changes. That's all I'm saying. Everything is changes. And actually, it's worth mentioning that at the time when we will experience the full moon in Virgo in February, all planets will be direct. All planets will be direct. Whereas now, not all planets, but still at the time of this new moon in Virgo, Mercury is still a retrograde. Mercury will not station direct until a few hours after. For some of you in the US across Atlantic, it will be actually on the next day. For us here, it will be on the same day, because for us the new moon is taking place on Friday the 15th. But either way, during this lunation, which is ruled by Mercury is the ruler of Virgo. Mercury is still retrograde. So we have Jupiter retrograde, Mercury retrograde, of course, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, all retrograde, Chiron retrograde still. And Uranus will be the last one to turn direct, not until January next year. So Uranus will be going retrograde all the way until 2024. But Venus is now direct, which is very good, because Venus, of course, is about our relationship. Venus, everybody feels Venus very strongly. She's a personal planet, and Venus is everything that matters to us. It's our belongings, it's our survival, it's our food, it's our relationship to ourselves, to others, money, everything. So Venus is now direct, so Venus is helping us to understand something we didn't know before, something we didn't understand before, because she is in the sign of Leo. And Leo is all about creative self-actualization, your self-validity, self-verification, and validating yourself. So it's like not waiting for someone else to tell you who you are, but having the sense of who you are yourself. So anyway, without going too much into different rabbit holes, let's just dive into this new moon in Virgo, which once more is going to be taking place on Thursday night, Friday early morning, depending where you are in the world. And it will be happening on 21 degrees, 59 minutes of Virgo. And it's actually going to be happening in opposition with Neptune. So just to mention, the exact opposition between Sun and Neptune will be taking place on September 19th, which is something I'll be talking about next weekend, because it's not applicable, to next week, even though it's applicable to this new moon, because it's happening only in a, just under 5-degree orb. It's going to happen in opposition. As we know, Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. He is in Pisces, and Neptune, the modern ruler, and it's in retrograde at the moment. So this will be, again, opposition always is the point of integration. And what are we integrating? What healing? What learning? What adjusting? What are we seeding forward that we want to change? Because there is so much chaos in the world, whether it's your internal, external, happening right now. And Virgo, it just doesn't let us ignore it, because Virgo is so efficient, so practical, and it just really feel like I am so exhausted, because it really feels that there is just one thing after another. Like, universe is literally just throwing the curveballs. Like, okay, you mastered this one, next, and it's just crazy. And it's just like this continuous necessity to stay flexible and open-minded and just be ready to have to learn and adjust something yet once more. So yes, so this lunation, the main thing is the opposition to Neptune. Neptune can also create disillusionment, lies, deceptions. So all I'm saying, especially because on that very moment of the new moon, Mercury is still in retrograde, just beware what information are you gathering, because when Mercury goes direct, and especially when Mercury gets out of his shadow, and especially once Mercury will move out of Virgo next month, things might become clearer. We might have much more understanding about what we've been working on, reevaluating, readjusting, rereading the small print, all these kind of things, because like most of the time we don't see these things, we don't see the details. But now we are in a Virgo season, so we are forced to see the details and like really overanalyze everything. But with the Neptune in opposition, like, are we lying to ourselves? Are we trying to deceive ourselves? Are we trying to procrastinate because whatever lies we tell ourselves, right? It could be anything. However, Neptune is still in the sextile to Uranus, and from the other side there is a sextile between Pluto and Neptune. So this is actually a third lunation when we have the kite in the sky. We already had it present in the two previous lunations, and there'll be one more lunation where we'll experience this, and that will be, actually no, this is the last one. No, yes, it is still present during the full moon in Aries, because obviously by that point Mercury will be direct and it will catch up with the position in opposition with Neptune. It will catch up with that position, and of course Neptune and Mercury will have their conjunction. Did I write down when? In my million notes, which I can't even read for myself. Yeah, anyway, do I have it written? No, I don't think I wrote it down. It's gonna be happening at the end of the month or beginning of October. But in any case, Neptune, as I mentioned, is the one opposing this lunation. Therefore, the kite is shaped because there is a sextile between Neptune and Uranus from one side and sextile between Neptune and Pluto from the other side. So once again, whatever is happening in your life right now, and I am pretty sure that it's challenging, because I don't know anybody who is not going through some challenging situation of all these like curveballs being thrown into our life and continuously have to make changes and shifts and just be okay with it on the practical level, like Virgo, like, well, this is life, let's just get on with it, right? Let's just find some solution, practical solution. And then of course there is a trine between Pluto and Sun, and trine from the other side between Sun and Uranus. And okay, where are the dates for that? I'm sure I wrote that down somewhere. So the exact trine between Sun and Uranus, because of course new moon, so Sun and moon are in conjunction. So the exact trine between Sun and Uranus will be taking place actually on September 16th, which is on Saturday. So it will be after the lunation, but it's already present during this new moon. And then the exact trine between Sun and Pluto will be taking place on September 21st. And we'll have the exact opposition to Neptune on September 19th. So they will be all taking place exactly, the exact degree will take place afterwards, after we already had this beautiful new moon. And then another thing which I felt drawn to mention is actually the Sun and Pluto conjunction, because we'll have Sun and Pluto conjunction when in a Capricorn season, but interestingly enough, it will be happening on a 29 degrees and 59 minutes. I mean, it doesn't get any more culminating than 29 degree and 59 minutes, because each sign has 30 degrees. So the exact conjunction between Sun and Pluto, so currently there is a trine between Sun and Pluto. So the exact conjunction between the two will be taking place on January 20th, 2024. Again, we have the twos. And 20 and 21, which is number 3. 3 and 8 is 11, which is the angelic frequency. And that will take place just before both Sun and Pluto are moving into the sign of Aquarius. So Pluto, as we know, is going to go back into Aquarius, and also, as we know, it's going to have one more retrograde into the sign of Capricorn next summer. But then as of November 2024, Pluto will remain in Aquarius for the upcoming 20 years. So yeah, I just felt this was important to mention because it's another number of conjunction, culmination, endings, and new beginnings. So Sun is your life force, is the center of the solar system, is the center of our universe. That's why, well, your personal universe, because the sun, every child thinks that the world rotates around them. Of course, we know that there are plenty of multiverses out there, but for us, it's the sun. Sun is the center, and Pluto is the soul desire for incarnation. So these two having a conjunction, this is gonna be a powerful aspect. And of course, it's happening only just over a month before we'll have the full moon in Virgo. So seriously, that's what I mean. And I keep mentioning this, but this, and like remain of this year, it's closing of ground cycles. Like there is no avoiding it. And like I know I look so tired because I feel like I am in washing machine right now on a fast spin, that like literally, and I'm getting vertigo so much. Like I feel there is so much energy streaming through since this 9/9 portal. Like there is so much happening, so much like upgrades available to us, so many upgrades available to us. I feel like I'm on an accelerated spin cycle in a washing machine. It's just crazy, and it's just one thing after another. And every time I felt that, oh yeah, I already integrated, I healed this, and then it's like bam, another thing. So watch out what's going out in for you, because there are so many things being presented to us for healing and integrating. So once again, this new moon is happening in opposition with Neptune. Are we lying to ourselves somewhere to prevent the necessity to close old cycles or to heal something and to integrate something? Because when there is a Virgo and Pisces being in action, it's always about healing and integrating, and it usually always involves not just this current situation, because Pisces is 12th house of the zodiac. It usually represents past lifetimes. Also, Virgo Pisces usually represents Pisces age, which is the 2000 years of conditioning we've spoken about many times, which is all about this not good enoughness, inferiority, sacrifice, like any of these inferior ego aspects that we can't have what we need or what we want, we have to put ourselves last, all that. And with this Virgo new moon, yes, we were all born to be of a service to each other, service to ourselves, to our physical body. Virgo also is all about diet and adjustments, and for some people this is the time when they go back to gym or back onto their diet schedule, because after vacations everybody feels like, oh yeah, perhaps there is more to adjust with that regards and stuff like that. So this is all Virgo in everyday practical sense, because Virgo in a traditional astrology, sixth house represents our everyday routines, all these things that are just mundane and we don't necessarily like dread, like in a old times the sixth house was the house of slavery. It was the house of this thing we have to do that we don't particularly want to, like make your bed every day and brush your teeth and stuff like that. But on the higher vibration is this chop wood, carry water, like these Zen masters. Like it was like before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After the enlightenment, you still chop wood, carry water, because you have to get on with life. And this is Virgo, and like I said, it's in opposition with Neptune. But from each side we have this beautiful trine between this new moon and Uranus, and new moon and Pluto from the other side, which is activating this beautiful grand earth trine. And this is all about earth energy, all about grounding, reconnecting to ourselves on a practical level, because there is so much, and I'm guilty of this just like a lot of other people, spiritual bypass going on, right? Neptune, again, Neptune in Pisces, like where are we trying to escape? Again, I talked about this in my previous video, like checking out in front of the television, or substance misuse, or sex or shopping addiction in my case, or any of these things, like whatever we try to escape from by numbing ourselves, scrolling, through social media and all these kind of things. So there is an opposition. What are we trying to escape from? Are we actually being right here and right now, practical, with this Taurus? Are our, basic needs met? Like, are we taking care of ourselves? Are we nurturing ourselves? Also Moon in Virgo, very practical, very down to earth, very, like feet on the ground, or feet in the earth, even better, grounding. And then of course Pluto, just to mention, all of these guys are in retrograde. Uranus, Pluto, Neptune, again, remind everyone, all of these guys, participants, are in retrograde, so they are helping us to reevaluate, reassess, redefine, rewrite, everything. So Pluto going still retrograde until October 11th. In Capricorn, we know that Pluto is culminating the 15-year cycle, the 15-year transit that started in 2008. So this is something which, once again, a lot of us are aware of, like, what no longer holds a meaning, because now it doesn't provide sense of safety and security. Like Capricorn, the boundaries of safety and security, like your white picket fence, but now it actually became a restriction. It became something that makes us feel disempowered, or it makes us feel that we given our power away. Once again, resolution to Pluto square in the nodes is South Node in Libra. Where did we externalize our power? And now Venus is direct, and Venus is going to be squaring Jupiter for the last and third time. So there were 3 of the same aspect. This is crazy. Like, how often does it happen that we have 3 the same aspects going on back and forth? And Venus is making 3 of them. She's making 3 squares, and that's between the signs she's ruling at the moment. 3 squares between herself and Jupiter, and herself and Uranus. The third one with Uranus will also be up and coming this month. So the one between herself and Jupiter, as I mentioned at the beginning, will be taking place for the last time this Sunday. And Venus is now direct. So Venus is saying, okay, what did I realize that I didn't know before? Venus is in Leo. Like, it's about you. It's about, what did you come here to do? Because you are the missing piece of puzzle of the tapestry of human consciousness. We all came here with a purpose. And it's not just this one grand thing that, oh my God, I don't know what is my purpose. I'm, I don't know, wasting my life or something. No, every day, just use getting out of that bed and just showing up for yourself in this good Virgo fashion. Doing what needs to be done, because there is no avoiding it, because we chose this incarnation, and people can argue, people can get triggered. No, I didn't choose this. Are you mad? Why would I choose this? But, isn't that much easier to make a change when we actually accept that in some way I chose this, in some way I attracted this into my life, in some way I, manifested this, right? And then when we take the responsibility, Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn, this finger pointing is not going to get us anywhere, not in the individual lives, not on a grand collective scale. Finger pointing is that person's fault, that politician's fault, that religious structure fault, is somebody else's fault, is never going to resolve anything. And this is, Virgo, this new moon, trine in Pluto, in Capricorn, Pluto retrograde, is saying we have to take the responsibility. I also already talked about this. I don't want to go and talk in circles about the things that I already mentioned before, but now Venus is direct. And Venus is squaring Jupiter, and Jupiter is in Taurus. What is the truth? What is the truth? What is the story? The story we told ourselves about our ability or inability to take care of our needs. It's the essential need formula. It involves the 2nd house, 7th house, and the 12th house. Where do we project our needs onto someone else and then become disillusioned because we say it's that person's fault because they didn't meet my need? Well, it's our responsibility, not someone else's. So why this is coming up for me is because of this trine, this grand Earth trine that is taking place between Virgo, Taurus, and Pluto. And this has been present already for past 2 lunations. And as I mentioned, it's going to be present for the next lunation, which will be the full moon in Aries. And this full moon is just not going to be any full moon. Because we had the double new moon in Aries and the springtime, out of which the second one on 29 degrees, again 29 degrees culmination, new beginning and endings, was the solar eclipse, the hybrid solar eclipse, the first one on this 18-month spin. And yeah, that will be our next lunation, but that will be already after the equinox, which will be taking place, just like under a week before. So yeah, going back to the chart, there is this square taking place, which is already active, very active, during the time of this lunation. And of course, it also still by white orb involves Uranus. So if there is Uranus in a mix, guys, and Uranus is trining this moon. So whatever is taking place, this is what I mean. Whatever is taking place, however hard and challenging and difficult it is, it has to take place. It has to, because we are not going into the future, which is going to be present of tomorrow. There is no such a thing. It's just the next now, the now for the tomorrow. What is present in our life right now is actually a gift. Present is a gift to help us understand whether that still holds a meaning, Neptune, Pisces, or it lost its meaning. It's run its course. And now with this new moon in Virgo, this is our opportunity to put new intention, to sow the seeds that will be supporting us in this upcoming journey going forward. But for that to take place, we have to take a responsibility, accept and recognize what got us to this point, because Virgo, practical, being practical is not about criticism or like again, how it goes with this Virgo, Neptune, Virgo, Pisces in a low vibration. We became so critical of ourselves, like again, what I was talking about previously, so critical where we literally drive ourselves to the ground, because we are our worst inner critic, which again is the consequence of the Pisces age. The self-sacrifice, the monks beating themselves with the whip on their back, like atoning for the sins and all these kind of things, which is a complete disrespect to the human body, which is the house for the spirit. How do you treat your house? How do you treat your car? Would you go and slash it with the whip? Of course not. So this is the disillusionment. This is the Neptune, the disillusionment of the Pisces age, that this is a complete disconnection. If we are not connected with our physical body, we cannot have this experience to our full ability. This is even what the spiritual teacher would say, that yes, it's all beautiful to go have, all these out-of-body experiences, astral travel, levitation and stuff like that. But unless we are grounded in our here and now, in our physical body, that is not going to happen. Because it's the disconnection, this complete disconnection, like this Uranus in Taurus, the complete disconnection. Where did we become fragmented and disconnected from ourselves? And now with this beautiful trine that is taking place between Uranus and this new moon in Virgo from one side, new moon and Pluto from the other side, where we are in a process of taking our power back from the external authority, because we will never feel empowered, safe and secure when we externalize our power. And in opposition with Neptune, the opportunity for healing and integration. This new moon is so powerful. It's so powerful where nothing might be happening right here, right now, because it's a new moon, it's dark moon, but it's the opportunity. And for the opportunity to be activated, we need to recognize our part that we play in this equation. And it's not about, it's somebody else's fault, Saturn is retrograde in Pisces. Saturn doesn't care. Saturn is like, guys, I did my work, I'm chilling here. It's now up to you, because then Saturn, when it moves into the sign of Aries in 2026, different story altogether. As I keep repeating like a parrot, by 2026 we have all these big players in new signs, and all of them will be masculine. Pluto in Aquarius, Uranus in Gemini, these are air signs, and Neptune and Saturn both in Aries, new beginning, fire, right? So this is not a child's play right now, even though this is a play. This is a complete simulation. Okay, it's real. Okay, it's real because we are right here, right now. This is a three-dimensional reality, the reality we created together. Like, yes, your life is your creation, but as a collective, as a human collective, even though we are living in a completely different realities at the same time, and it just all gets confusing from now on, we created this Okay, we created this, so we have to take responsibility. Me being in my current circumstances at my parent place, being being triggered to hell and back and driven insane and continuously have to adjust everything. My entire life has been uprooted and has to be adjusted on not even daily basis, hourly basis. But I created this, so obviously my higher self is saying, well, this is something which is unresolved, and it will keep being like a, like this broken little toe that will can cause an infection in your body if you don't heal it. So now is your opportunity, but you have to acknowledge your participation in this situation, right? So this is what I'm saying. Everything that's going on in the sky right now, and Venus, it's, obviously she's in Leo, so she's like not doing really much to this new moon, but she's in a closing phase to Sun, because as of the conjunction that two had, now Venus is behind Sun, not ahead of it. Before the conjunction, the Venus start point that took place, Venus was ahead of the Sun. Now she's behind, so she's again culminating. Venus is culminating. She's closing the cycles. And and didn't I just say Venus was doing something very important next year? Oh yeah, Venus is conjuncting Uranus same day as we have Sun-Jupiter conjunction. That's what I mean. There is so much breadcrumbs, so many breadcrumbs. So between now and next year, next April, there is so much happening. So much. It's crazy. Like literally, and that will be what? That will be the next equinox in March. It will be the next equinox. It will be the spring, or, well, whatever, wherever you are, it will be the opposite one. So that's what I mean. It's just crazy what's taking place. And another thing to mention, which is very interesting, is that Mercury once again is in opposition with Saturn, because they are both retrograde. And now let me tell you when the first opposition, the exact opposition, took place between Mercury and Saturn, because with Virgo being in play right now, I had to go and research. So it took place on August 2nd. Well, and now, do we remember what was happening in August? We had 3 lunation, and what was the first one on 1st of August? It was the full moon in Aquarius. So again, something became illuminated to us with regards to where we are still not free, where we feel that, oh, I cannot be myself, I cannot be authentic. And Mercury was already in Virgo, and it was in an exact opposition with Saturn. Saturn was already in retrograde, by the way. And now, that was, well, full moon in full moon in Aquarius. And now what is happening, it's we are having new moon in Virgo. Obviously between Aquarius and Virgo there is an inconjunction. It's a blind spot. The two can't see each other. They go like, I don't know what you're saying, I can't, I don't compute, because Aquarius looks at Leo and I say, yeah, that's my authentic self, when I individuate. Or Leo says like, oh yeah, I want to be free like Aquarius, like they see each other. But then they go like the blind spot, like where you drive, it's this in conjunction, and the next sign, which is the semi-sextile, they can't see each other very well. They go like, Aquarius go like, Virgo? What do I have common with Virgo? Like Aquarius is all like this, this mind, and it's all these like thoughts and all this going beyond, and, like this being a rebel and being on the outskirt, on the fringe of the society and changing the patterns, can see everything that's outdated. And now Virgo, the humble Virgo, which, doesn't even want to be seen, doesn't even want to speak before it knows exactly what it's talking about, because it's like, like, oh, am I going to say the wrong thing and be judged, like it's all this criticism, which mostly starts from within, like, oh, I can't even express myself because God forbid people will think I'm crazy. And Aquarius is like, yes, I want to be crazy. It's great to be unique. It's great to be different, right? So these two, they're like, it's like a complete, like it's like a librarian and a bikers club or something, or like rock stars, right? And a librarian. I'm not saying they have nothing in common, but like it's not, something that you would pair up normally. So now we have a new moon in Virgo. There is an opposition between Mercury and Saturn again. What is this telling us? Well, Mercury is retrograde, Saturn is retrograde. We are reevaluating. Okay, well, there was the opposition before. It was the full moon in Aquarius. We might have got illumination of something that, okay, well, yeah, I'm still not feeling free, and truly be able to be authentic, beginning of August. So let me go and figure it out. You know, Saturn is retrograde, Pisces, like completely dissolving the structure of our life. Everything that makes sense before, it's kind of doesn't really make much more sense anymore. It's kind of like, well, I don't know if this is going to take me any further. And at the same time, is this still who I am? You know, with the Pisces, we are calling the aspects of ourselves which we have to reject and suppress back, because in order to become whole, you know, this Pisces, wholeness, returning back to the source and start anew, Aries, you know, when Saturn moves into the sign of Aries, Neptune moves into the sign of Aries, for Neptune is 2025 to 2026, because Neptune for the first time will dip its toes into Aries in 2025. But either way, we have to become whole again, fully integrated, and that will never happen if we are fragmented, if there is this fracture, you know, fracture going on between us, which is like trauma, unhealed trauma, or these things that we can't see, because Uranus is subconscious. It's beyond our understanding. But now Uranus is in Taurus, so Uranus is bringing all these things into our physical reality, because it's ruled by Venus. So it's bringing all these things into our tangible physical reality for us to experience. It's no longer, you know, that, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, because bam, there is this thing happening in the world, like earthquake, and suddenly we become sensitive, we become re-traumatized, like something is getting triggered, and like, okay, where is this coming from? Where do I feel that there is a danger for me, because this is something that reminds me of something else, whether from this or previous lifetime. So that's what I mean. Like, yeah, you look at the chart of new moon, there's nothing happening this week prior to the new moon. After the new moon, yes, we're going to have the exact opposition, you know, like, well, that's not going to be until the week later, but we're going to have, what is it, exact trine between Sun and Uranus, you know, like Mercury, of course, is going to station direct for us the same day on Friday. Saturday, Sun is going to trine Uranus exactly, which is beautiful, because it's going to, again, with Sun going through the sign of Virgo, helping us to illuminate everything Mars touched, which is like, okay, we're gonna take this with us, this with us, this with us, because Mars is the rule of the North Node in Aries. This is the new cycle we are beginning. And then it's going to trine Uranus, and Uranus is going to go like, okay, well, you know, I'm just bringing you some unexpected opportunities into your tangible everyday reality, Taurus, you know, which you can physically experience in three-dimensional reality, to acknowledge what works and what doesn't, right? Because this is impersonal. Uranus is impersonal planet. It goes like, I'm just trying to help, you know. I don't care like what has to happen in a process, which usually doesn't feel good at all, because it's like tower moment. Like things are literally hard, because this is a physical experience that we are having here. And yeah, and then like I said, we culminate in the week with Venus squaring Jupiter. So again, our belief systems are being challenged. You know, everything that we perhaps before thought that was important, you know, like me watching million people, I subscribe to million YouTube channels and watching everything like, you know, non-stop on my phone, and now being in an environment where this is impossible. It's impossible, because it's different when I live with other people and when I'm just on my own. But then saying like, okay, is this necessary? Do I need to see every single video this person is posting? Is this actually enriching my life? And now being Mercury retrograde, and my ability to retain information is very low. So I'm like, do I need to watch all this? So then I just have to rewatch it again at the end of the month, because I will not remember anything, you know? So this is what I mean, is this continuous learning and adjusting, and Uranus creating this situation on the collective level as well, that are happening in the world, which are very hard, very challenging, because it's Taurus. It's something that hit homes, that comes very close, and it's like, ooh, that really stunk, you know. Also with the Leo, you know, with the Leo energy, if we don't use the fire to create, the fire will like eat us. It will eat us alive. So that's why people with a strong fire in their chart, if they don't have an outlet for using that fire to create something, they can become very argumentative or very volatile, very aggressive, you know, especially people with like Mars in fire signs. It can be very, very volatile. So that's why we need to use the energy, because the energy doesn't do anything. It's just like, well, the energy is here. You either use me, or I'll be expressed in a way that I find, that I want to be expressed. So it's like also on a global level that we can see all these things happening in the world. And yeah, like without going into what out of that is natural and what is manipulated by humans, which, is for another discussion. But there is so much imbalance. There is so much imbalance in the world right now, and we got to the point when things became extreme. And in a sense, I believe maybe they, like, of course, like, I am not the one deciding which way they get in extreme, but things has to become conscious to us. And the only way they're gonna become conscious, like Uranus in Taurus, is through something that is actually hitting home, something that is affecting us on tangible level. Because while Uranus is still unconscious, it's hiding somewhere in Aquarius, in your 11 or 12th house, right? In your chart, is like, I don't see it, especially Uranus in the 12th house, like, I don't see it, but now Uranus is in Taurus, which is like, ooh, we all feel Uranus in Taurus, food, the clothes, like everything that you use every day to survive. Taurus is about survival, it's about preserving your existence on this planet, right? So now Uranus being there, Uranus and being retrograde, Uranus is creating this situation on an individual and global level that are forcing us to introspect. Is this relevant? Is this necessary for my survival? Is it necessary for me to watch 5 videos on YouTube every day? Is this necessary for my survival right now? Is it actually making a change, difference? And, in some cases, yes, in some cases, no, because some of it is Neptune, some of it is, I just want to check out, I just want to escape, I just want to listen to some channeling messages from aliens because it makes me feel better, whatever it is for you, whatever is your poison, So anyway, going back to all of this, like, I'm not going to mention again all these closing phases that we've got going on, but of course, because Jupiter and Uranus are involved in this lunation, because by still within the degree, Jupiter is also trining, this new moon in Virgo. And once again, as I mentioned, it's the square between Venus and Jupiter is already active, even though it's becoming exact for the third and last time on Sunday. It's already active during this new moon in Virgo. So there is adjustment. Again, square is something that creates so much pressure that we have to make a change, because it becomes unbearable. It just says, like, me continue life believing this thing, it just feels like I am self-destructing. Yeah, because with the Uranus tower moment, anything can take place, anything can happen. And of course, we still have the Pluto square in the notes for the rest of the year, as we know. And again, just to remind everyone, actually the square started in, what was it, July, just before, like, Leo season was the first one, 23rd was the first one. So this is still obviously present during this, this lunation, as it will be for all the lunations for the rest of the year. So we always have to look to Venus. What is Venus doing? Because she's the ruler of the resolution node. And yeah, Venus is still in Leo for another couple of weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, until October. She's moving, was it October 9th, I believe? October 9th, Venus is moving into the sign of Virgo. So yeah, and then Venus will be touching everything that Mars had touched and the Sun is touching, or has touched now. Obviously, Mercury is there as well, going still retrograde. So yeah, there is so many things, so much energy that is focused on Earth. There is some fire, obviously. Venus still being in Leo, North Node being in Aries. Venus will make a trine to North Node again, because it already took place once before she stationed retrograde. Actually, is it going to be happening during the next lunation? Let me just check. Venus. Not exact, but much closer. Yeah, during the next lunation, the full moon in Aries, Venus will be trining the North Node. She's a bit far at the moment, But at the moment, yes, Venus is squaring the Jupiter. She's the ruler of Jupiter. She's the ruler of Uranus. So there is a lot that Venus has realized that is now shifting for us. These two are in retrograde. So there is Uranus and Jupiter, that is. So there is a lot of reevaluation going on with regards to that. And I feel that that's why there are so many things happening around us and within us, all these triggers that are making us to reevaluate everything. And with this new moon in Virgo, plant seed for what we want this future to be, for what we want to create, what we want to bring into our practical experience, into our everyday reality. Virgo, our everyday reality. Yes, it's all great to like work hard all your life, so then one day maybe you can retire and have all this pension and, you know, just to put your feet up and go cruising all around the world and just don't care. Yeah, that is a beautiful idea for some. But I mean, now especially, and okay, yeah, it was possible for a lot of our parents, you know, because of all these insurance opportunities that were existing at the time when they were in our age. But now this is all crumbling. This is not going to be there in 20 years, you know, these things, right? So this is all about this individuation, taking our power back, not relying on this, you know, Scorpio, this South Node that was in Scorpio for a year and a half. This is not going to be there forever. You know, all these things external of us that we were relying on. Oh, yeah, I'm just going to save money and then in 20 years I'm going to be okay. Like, money might not even be there. And, you know, the value of money will definitely be different, you know, even if it's there. So this is what I mean. We are living in unprecedented times where we cannot predict these things that were potentially still truth for our parent generation. This is just not possible anymore because Pluto is just about to move into Aquarius and Pluto is going to change everything. It's going to go, this is outdated, this is outdated, this is outdated. I showed you during 15 years of me being Capricorn what is outdated, and now that's it. Pluto is the phoenix rising. Pluto is the death and rebirth. Pluto is the complete transformation, it's actually the transmutation. It's not even the transformation, it's the transmutation. We are becoming something completely different. Because transformation is more like a Uranus, you know, or yeah, you know, it's like a transformation. Yeah, we need to change. But Pluto is beyond transformation. Pluto is like, this cannot be saved anymore. It's a transmutation. It's going to be put down and something new has to rise from the ashes, something completely new, which is what we can see, especially on, you know, a lot of political structures in the world, right? Like, how can they be saved? It's all the same people playing the role, just they have different face and different name, but they're all like completely different generation. Completely different generation. And yeah, of course, there is a value in the wisdom of experience and the age, like the ripe wine and stuff. But with all this energy that is present in the sky right now, that is saying about we entering something we have never experienced before, how are these 80-year-old leaders going to prepare us for that? Like something that we've never experienced before, which is indicating that the things that created the structure of our lives until this point, Saturn in Pisces, is dissolving. It lost meaning, is not going to support us anymore. And of course, this is not to like say like, oh, okay, what do we do then? You know, like easy for you to say and like, well, it's still standing. It's still standing. Yeah, it's still just on its last feet. But the whole point is that we cannot change anybody else's life. You cannot go and change somebody else's life. Even the people you love, you cannot change their life. You can walk their path with them, alongside them, and create a safe space to help them to change their life. You can be there for them, but you cannot do that for them. You cannot learn for your child what it needs to learn itself. You cannot do that. You know, you can just be there present with that experience that other person has. And it's the same with the world right now. You know, this is also the Virgo, the new moon in Virgo. We are trying to redefine what Virgo means to us. You know, what this energy of Virgo, what it actually means, you know, archetypal, what Virgo means. Virgo is not just about, you know, it's all about efficiency and service and healing, of course. But which way, you know, because Mercury, the ruler, is still in retrograde. So it's not the way it was before. you know, this like at any cost, you know, let me just be of a service no matter what it does to me, you know, because it's also like there is this trine to Taurus and Capricorn. There has to be, you have to be your authority, you have to feel safe and secure within yourself, you know, like Taurus, material self-reliance, trust within yourself, reconnection with yourself. So anyway, guys, I could go on forever, and this video is already very long. I need to stop now because I have an appointment, but this can go so deep, and there is so much happening. That's what I mean. This new moon has so many layers that it cannot be even expressed in one video because it goes so deep, because Virgo and Pisces always represents the 2000 years of Pisces age conditioning. So to try to explain a new moon in Virgo just in a short video, it's almost impossible, especially because of all the other energies that are present at the time. Still 7 planets in retrograde, even though Mercury is going to turn direct on Friday, on the same day for some of you. For you in the US, it's going to be the next day. And yeah, so some things will become potentially clearer as we go forward, but it's still shadow. But there is just so much. There is just so much, and it goes very deep, very, very deep. So all we can do is just to be practical, just observe, pay attention, be grounded, be present. Don't try to shift the blame and responsibility onto someone else, because it's not going to resolve anything, because the only person's life we can control is our own, not like your someone around you, not even the husband, just our own. And yeah, we all start from there, healing and integrating, chop wood and carry water on day-by-day basis, being right here and now for each and every single of us, you know, individually. And that's what creates a change in the collective. So I leave it at that because this video is super long and I only just scrubbed the surface. I hope it's been it made sense, because it's still Mercury retrograde, and as I said, I always get impacted by Mercury retrograde a lot. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Anyway, there will be a collaboration with my triple moon goddess friends, so that will be with the chart present, and we will be bouncing off each other what this is bringing for each of us individually. And then of course there'll be another episode of Stars and Cards coming up soon. We'll be diving into different topics, not just the lunation. So stay tuned for that. That will be all coming up later on, hopefully this week. But this is what I've got for you. It's, as I said, this is the main topic for this week, and the rest of the week will be just the exact degree of the aspects that are already present during the lunation. Some of them will spill over for the weeks yet to come. And yeah, I hope that it was valuable to someone. So I wish you all a beautiful week. Set your intentions, and yeah, just let's keep going. Chop wood, carry water, because life doesn't stop. Things still needs to be done on a daily basis. So much love to everyone, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye for now.